hard to tell the sound from sitting on the side.
Yeah. I mean, then my
30 seconds.
The MC for this evening, the Renee Mawad Foundation's own board member, Manal Saab.
I need my mic. Is my mic on? Is the mic on? Good evening, everyone. Please take your seats. We have a long program and an exciting one, and we'd like to get started. Welcome, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. I don't usually bring my glass of wine up on stage or to the podium with me, but tonight is an exception because of the wine we're being served. So cheers and welcome, everyone. Good evening and welcome to the Renee Mawad Foundation Gala, and a special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. Although, after a long interruption, it feels like a first time for us all. Tonight is about Lebanon. Tonight is about hope. Tonight you will see a Renee Mawad Foundation whose mission exploded with the Beirut port explosion in 2020, impelling its services to national levels, sustaining communities, and preserving hope as our beloved Lebanon fell into its darkest years. Tonight is also about your generosity that we transform into impact. Because of you, the diaspora, the Lebanese remain hopeful and resilient, and we are succeeding, as you will see tonight. I want to go over one of the house rules tonight, and that is, during the program, if we hear conversation at a table, we're going to assume you're so excited that you want to raise your hand to donate to RMF, and all attention will be turned to you. So let's begin with our chair of tonight's gala. He's been a key player in New Hampshire's business and politics and was the highest ranking granted staters in the federal government, serving as U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Export Administration till 2020. He spent most of his career when he wasn't a U.S. Senator or U.S. Assistant Secretary as a senior executive in the defense industry, contributing to the growth of that business from 800 to nearly $5 billion enterprise, leading the world in electronic warfare. He takes pride in his contribution to the success of dozens of programs that have protected the lives of U.S. military service members. And I take pride in serving on the U.S. René Mawat Foundation Board with him. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our host for tonight, the Honorable Rich Ashu.
Thank you, Manal. Manal, thank you. Thank you. But remember, if you make noise, you're going to have to pay money to RMF, and we have enforcers in the room. So thank you. I am delighted to be here. And can I just say, it's good to be with you. It has been a long COVID winter, and just being together means a lot. It's been too long that friends have been able to come together, and I'm so glad we could be together tonight and be together for such an important cause. You are going to see some very moving images tonight about Lebanon, and they will be disturbing, but you should take comfort knowing that your presence here tonight will soothe many of those very difficult feelings you're going to have. And again, I want to thank Manal, who is a gift to the RMF. We're so glad she's here, along with the other board members. We're not going to go through a bunch of names tonight for acknowledgement, because one of the things about having such a successful Lebanese diaspora is it means there's a lot of really successful people who all deserve recognition. Let me say, though, that there are many associations in the room tonight that are also doing amazing work for Lebanon, including the State Department, USAID, Congress, and I'll name a couple, and then some non-governmental organizations such as representatives from ATFL and the ADC and the Lebanese Information Center. So thank you all for being here. As far as members of Congress, I'd like to acknowledge such a stalwart friend in Darrell Issa. Darrell, I don't know where you're sitting, but please, yeah, let everyone know you're here. And also Congressman Dave Joyce is here tonight, and we're so grateful for his presence. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence and welcome the Chargé d'Affaires of the Embassy of Lebanon. Wael Hasham is here. Thank you, Wael. Good to see you. And then also from the diplomatic community, please welcome not only to this evening, but also to the diplomatic corps here in D.C., the new ambassador from Kuwait, His Excellency Jassim Al-Badawi. Yeah. Good to see you. Yeah. So since we were last together, there have been some changes at the RMF. The most significant, I think, is the fact that we have a new chairman in Dr. Joe Jabra. Joe is, yeah, please, although you'll have to clap again when I bring him up to the stage. Joe is another gift to the RMF. Many of you know him from his long and successful tenure at the Lebanese American University. And he succumbed to the persuasions of the Mawad family to join us in a leadership role as the chair of the RMF USA board. He's here tonight, and I'd like to welcome him up to the stage. Joe, please join us.
Thank you very, very much, Rich. You're absolutely great. Good evening. Our honored guests, ladies and gentlemen. Throughout history, we, Lebanese American, Lebanese in the diaspora, the world over, we have always had a firm belief in our resilience, our ability to bounce back no matter what the difficulties are, our firm faith in the miracle of the phoenix, our beloved Lebanon, that no matter what the challenges are, that phoenix will rise from the ashes and restore to Lebanon its dignity that is so needed at the present time. However, ladies and gentlemen, little we knew that the time will come when our belief, firm belief in our resilience might be at risk. That our firm faith in our phoenix and its miracle to rise from the ashes may not materialize. As we all know, at the present time, Lebanon is going through its worst crisis in the past 100 years. And to my chagrin, the report of the World Bank says to everybody, to one and all, that Lebanon, for the first time, belongs to 3 states in the world who are really in terrible conditions. It is inconceivable, ladies and gentlemen, that 80% of the Lebanese population lives under poverty. It is unacceptable. According to the latest UNICEF report, it is unacceptable. And the report addressed the Lebanese. He said, hey, you Lebanese, do you know that your children go to bed hungry? Do you know that a great number of your children have crossed the Rubicon of malnutrition? What are you going to do about it? It is inconceivable, ladies and gentlemen, that the backbone of Lebanese successes, the banking system, is in tatters. How can we forget? How can we forget about the incredible non-nuclear explosion ever happened in the history of humanity? And you know what? It's a shame that we don't have any answer as to how it happened, why it happened, who did it, and we are silent about it. Ladies and gentlemen, our Lebanese people are expressing a fatigue because, first of all, their government institutions are in shambles. Second, they know for a fact that the Lebanese monetary and fiscal policies are non-existent anymore. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that the waters of our beloved Lebanon is terrible, in terrible shape. It is polluted. And for the first time, when the cholera has been eliminated the world over, it appears as a guest in Lebanon, and it is increasing at a rapid pace. This is something that is unacceptable. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that the shortages of power in Lebanon at the present time has been putting at risk only the few advantages that are left for Lebanon? Our museums are suffering. Our people who are trying really to defend our belief in hope don't have any hope anymore. But luckily, the Lebanese the world over in the diaspora rallied, and they began to send money to their parents, to their family, to their children, to their sisters, to their brothers, and to the good causes that we all gathered here tonight in order to honor. Something that is very, very important to keep in mind. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that governments in the world, including the United States, and we thank the Americans for their generosity through USAID, has been really constantly supporting the Lebanese army, supporting humanitarian, if you wish, concerns in Lebanon, and at the same time supporting our foundation in Lebanon, our partners in Lebanon, and we thank the Americans for that. Let's give them a round of applause for whatever they're doing for our Lebanon. But these governments, ladies and gentlemen, are telling the Lebanese, well, look, we're behind you, but do something about it. And you know what? Our leaders in Lebanon are really involved, engaged in their political shenanigans while our phoenix is burning, literally and figuratively. How could we accept that? We are lucky as well that when the crisis hit Lebanon, so many existing NGOs, new ones, rose to the challenge and began to sending money to Lebanon in order to alleviate the pressure. And one of these NGOs, as you well know, is the RMF DC Foundation. A bit of background, as you well know, and some of you might know, then in 1899, a young man was elected president of Lebanon, and he made a commitment to restore to Lebanon its independence. He made a commitment to make sure that every single Lebanese, without any discrimination, that every single Lebanese will have the opportunity to make a decent living. Unfortunately, 17 days after his election as president, on his way back, November 22nd, a powerful bomb, ladies and gentlemen, ripped through his motorcade and he was dead. He was killed. And his wife, Naila Mawad, decided to pursue his mission. She established the RMF DC Foundation in Lebanon, and she began to work day and night in order to serve Lebanese, in order to serve those who are marginalized, those who live in remote villages. But she needed money as her work continued to expand. Her friends in the United States decided to help her, and they've established really the RMF DC Foundation, the United States of America. And what they did, ladies and gentlemen, is to say that that foundation, your foundation, had three major pillars. The first one was the mission. And the mission was really to support development and sustainability of the social, economic, agricultural, and rural endeavors in Lebanon. A terrific mission based on a number of values: transparency, ethics, accountability, very, very important, and above all, a profound, profound faith in the right of every Lebanese for shelter, food, education, justice, and of course, dignity. And for that, there was a vision, ladies and gentlemen, an incredible vision. And that vision consisted of the following: to make sure that the foundation, U.S. Foundation, will provide through funding money, raising money in order to give the opportunity to our partner in Lebanon to do the following: to really satisfy, promote, strengthen all the development programs in Lebanon, Secondly, establish a strong civil society in Lebanon, which is very, very important. Thirdly, to provide the training and jobs for those who need it. And fourthly, and most importantly, to provide young men and women access to education. And most importantly, they made a point of it, and we support them in that, elimination of gender inequality in Lebanon, something that is very, very important to keep in mind. Over and above that, ladies and gentlemen, over and above that, we committed ourselves here in the United States to help our partner in Lebanon in order to help in providing all the health support that the country needs at the present time. And most of you were involved, engaged in this particular endeavor, from Manal Saab to our ambassador. What is this? He's sitting here somewhere. Thank you. Thank you, ATFL, for what you're doing. You have done. So let's give everybody a round of applause, please, for whatever they're doing for Lebanon. In closing, with respect to this particular issue, let me mention to you that perhaps the best gift in life is the gift of giving, because it provides us with an inexplicable joy that really animate our innermost sanctum and provide meaning to our life. So please give when you can. And it doesn't really matter how much you give. Give and you shall receive. May I take this opportunity at the present time really to congratulate our awardees, and they will be introduced duly so with gratitude later on in the program. I'd like to salute and thank the host committee chaired by our indefatigable Rich, who really organized this beautiful gala dinner and wanted to make it a stunning success, and a stunning success it is. Rich and the host committee, please stand up and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. I also would like, on behalf of the board, to thank, from the depth of my heart, to thank Manal Saab for agreeing to be our MC tonight. Thank you very, very much. I'd like to thank as well our singers for tonight. You did a beautiful job. Thank you so much for that. And above all, ladies and gentlemen, above all, on behalf of the board, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight with us, for sharing in the hope that each and every one has, that Lebanon surely will rise from the ashes and return to all Lebanese their dignity. So thank you very, very much. And may I take this opportunity at the present time to introduce to you Michelle Mawad. Michelle Mawad will speak to us virtually. And as you well know, Michelle Mawad is the son of Rene Mawad and the indefatigable Naila Mawad, who was the first woman for really winning 4 successive terms in the Parliament of Lebanon, and over and above that, for holding the Ministry of Social Affairs. I just want to tell you a couple of things about him. He is not a candidate for the presidency of Lebanon. He is a contender for that post, and he is the executive director of our partner in Lebanon, the Rene Mawad Foundation in Lebanon. I just want to mention to you that he was absolutely indefatigable in terms of promoting, strengthening that particular, foundation in Lebanon to the tune of touching over 550,000 Lebanese and making their lives better, which is very, very important, with a budget connecting with NGOs in Europe, in the United States, everywhere in the world, with a budget over $19 million. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, may I present to you virtually the Honorable Michelle Mawad. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Dr. Jabra. Are you all hearing me? Hello? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Jabra. Thank you all for being here tonight. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, friends, partners, supporters of the Renee Mawad Foundation. I would like to say first that I was so much looking forward to being with you tonight, and I made the impossible to try to be with you over there in Washington, D.C., because I know how important your presence is, your support is. But as you know, in a few hours, we have another session to try to elect a president in Lebanon. And besides being a candidate myself, I'm first and foremost a member of parliament. And I think that you would agree that my first duty is to lead by example and to show all the Lebanese that what we need to do first and before everything is to elect a new president, because whatever we are all doing for Lebanon, nothing can replace the building of state institutions, reforms needed, government in Lebanon. We can all help, but nothing can replace the state. And that's why I chose to stay here, to be tomorrow in parliament, and to try to elect a president that would initiate change and initiate those reforms. So thank you for your understanding. And I'm really very, very sorry to be with you tonight, only virtually in this, from Beirut, from Lebanon, where we are somewhere between late at night and early morning. I would like to say that you all know where Lebanon is today. Dr. Jabra has said a little bit about it. We are living a real nightmare. More than 80% of the Lebanese people are under the line of poverty. People every day are having their dignity killed, really. People cannot buy any more bread, cannot eat, cannot have access to medicine, cannot have access to schools, cannot have access to education, do not have any more jobs, are ready to die because they're trying to flee Lebanon on boats and dying on the Mediterranean. This is where the Lebanese people are today. A few days ago, I was condolencing the family of a little girl called Maggie Mahmoud in Tripoli. That little girl died, not because she was ill, not because of a heart attack. She died because she went into mourning, like every morning, to a public school in Tripoli, and the ceiling of that public school fell on her and on her classmates. She died, and her other classmate miraculously made it and stayed alive. Maggie Mahmoud's case is not an exception. This is happening every day in Lebanon. People dying because of lack of infrastructure. Just in Tripoli, I discovered after the death of Maggie Mahmoud, I discovered that 7 schools are on the verge of collapsing. I discovered that 400 homes, 400 families living in homes are on the verge of collapsing. Maybe now that we're talking, if there's a little bit of rain, they will have their home collapsing on them. Why? Because today, the state whole budget of Lebanon, The budget of the government of Lebanon has fell from $18 billion 3 years ago to less than $1 billion today. So now the whole state, the whole government, to keep on Lebanon and all its infrastructure, education, hospitals, army, ISF, and others is only $1 billion. And you can imagine what that does mean. What does this mean to the soldier that is still here protecting our security, that is getting around $100 a month? What does this mean to every Lebanese in terms of electricity? And I would like to say tonight that although we are living, as I told you, a nightmare, although the Lebanese people are really suffering, they are sometimes eating from bins. They have no access to their money. There is one thing we are blessed with, is our diaspora. Because even if we were impoverished, I can tell you that without the Lebanese diaspora in the US, in Europe, in the Arab countries, in Australia, in Africa, in South America, and all over the world, we would have been today not only impoverished, we would have been today hungry, dying of hunger. Without your help to your families, to your villages, to your country, through NGOs, sometimes directly, without the $7 billion of remittances that you are sending, without what you are doing, going and coming back to your home country and to your homeland, we would have been really in a much, much worse situation. That is why, in the name of every Lebanese living in Lebanon, I want to tell you, thank you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being the true Lebanese. We want Lebanon to be like you and like the successes you have written all over the world. That is why tonight I feel blessed by your presence at our RMF USA Gala. That is why, you being the cornerstone of Lebanon's survival, I would like to I am having the pleasure of honoring the Abi Najm family for their outstanding community service. I would have liked to be with you, honoring you over there. George and Danielle Dow for the distinguished lifetime achievement. We're really proud of you. And Darren Lahoud, Congressman Darren Lahoud, and Senator Jean Shaheen for the Public Service Award. Thank you all for what you are doing for Lebanon. I would like to say that our battle is really to give to the Lebanese people the opportunity of succeeding in Lebanon, like they have succeeded in the US and all over the world. This is the Lebanon we want to build together. Our battle as RMF is, and the challenge we have decided to rise for, is to defend human dignity in Lebanon so that the Lebanese stay on their land. يبقى اللبناني بأرضه in Arabic. And for this, we have a very clear strategy built on 2 pillars. The first pillar is to support the most vulnerable through our healthcare programs. We have done in 2021, 21,000 services to 16,000 individuals, and we have reconstructed or revamped or restructured or supported 47 medical facilities, hospitals, dispensaries, and other medical facilities. We have also supported through food security, distributing more than 50,000 food boxes and 95,000 hot meals just in 2021. But yes, we need to support the most vulnerable because we need to be part of that safety net. We need to make sure that people are not hungry. We need to make sure that people have access to medicines, have access to hospitals. But we need also to make sure that we do not transform the Lebanese people into beggars, because the Lebanese people have never been beggars, never ever. We have always been entrepreneurs. We have always been a productive people. We have always been people with dignity, and we will never accept to become beggars. That is why our main pillar is not helping, is not only supporting, it's creating sustainability. It's building in a sustainable manner the capacity of the Lebanese people through education, through trainings, so that they can become a productive people and change their lives. This is how we have worked in developing local economies and developing with the help of municipalities, of local authorities, of local NGOs. And I need here to salute our main partner, USAID, and through USAID, the American people that are every year supporting the Lebanese people. Thank you to USAID, and thank you to the American people. With USAID, we have developed, one of the projects we have developed on over 10 years is the Baladi project, where we have worked in more than 160 municipalities, more than 15% of Lebanon's municipalities, changing the lives of people through projects related to renewable energy, through projects related to sustainable development. This is how also we are supporting agriculture. And thanks to RMF's work, today, more than 3,000 of our people, 3,000 farmers, are exporting their products for the first time to European and Western markets through our strategy of a value chain where we have linked the markets to the farmer. Instead of saying, this is what we're producing, let's see how we can sell it, we changed it and said, what can we sell and at what prices, and let's see how we can produce it. We have worked supporting SMEs and specifically with organizations like LIFE and like ATFL that we are also saluting. We have supported SMEs in Beirut after the explosion, and we have, and also through MEPI and USAID, and we have rebuilt 400 and re-equipped 461 SME in Beirut after the explosion. We did not only work on homes, we worked on production and on sustainable economy. And this is how we are working also on creating jobs all over Lebanon, from Akkar to Nabatieh and from Beirut to Arsal. The role of RMF USA has been pivotal throughout all these years. All what we have done was also in partnership with RMF USA, and I'm saluting our chairman, Dr. Joe Jabra. I'm also saluting our board, our executive director, and I'm saluting each one and every one of you, because you are our partners. You have enabled us to be able to do our battle in Lebanon. RMF USA has started since 1993, and since then, they have been a solid partner, thanks to each and every one of you. And I'm sure that together, us and you, thanks to your generosity, you have supported RMF with more than $1 million in 2021. We're almost there in 2022. Before tonight, we were at $760,000, and I'm sure that tonight you are going to do better than 2021 through your support, because we are in need of every dollar so that the Lebanese here stay on their land, so that we defend human dignity in Lebanon, so that we help the Lebanese by creating jobs and developing local economies. Your presence is essential, and your role is essential, and you are the cornerstone of the Lebanon of tomorrow. Together, we are going to build tomorrow's Lebanon, a Lebanon built on the capacity of its people, not on corruption and not on clientelism, and not on transforming the Lebanese people into a people without dignity. We are not a people of a lesser God. Thanks to you, we are going to rebuild Lebanon. Thank you for everything you are doing, and I hope to see each one of you very soon. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And in the name of the Lebanese people, a big thank you. And yes, Dr. Jabra, Lebanon is the phoenix, and we will rebuild our country, because with such a people, there is no way we can let that country be destroyed. Thank you all for listening to me. And now I invite you to watch a video that is related to RMF's development programs and our special relationship with USAID. Thank you for USAID. Thank you to the American people. Thank you, ATFL. Thank you, Life. Thank you for each and every one of you. And see you very soon.
According to the Human Rights Watch report, which describes the worsening situation in Lebanon, more than 80% of Lebanon's population are without access to basic rights like education, health, and a basic standard of living in terms of housing and electricity. Yet with the generous support of the Lebanese diaspora, the true voice of Lebanon, donors, and partners from all over the world, the Renee Mawad Foundation managed since 1991 to undertake countless initiatives and develop numerous programs all over Lebanon in order to empower human beings and build their capabilities while preserving their dignity. The human being in Lebanon is at the core of Renee Mawad Foundation's mission. Its vision is to achieve human, local, and community development, as well as sustainable economic development. A holistic humanitarian response, especially during the crisis and emergencies, is one of RMF's top priorities. In 2021, 316,731 persons benefited from the various projects targeting education and protection, livelihood, economic growth, agriculture, decentralization, governance, health, social safety net. 278,276 services were provided to vulnerable people. Children in Lebanon are exposed to child labor, child marriage, and other forms of violence. RMF is focusing on ensuring the well-being of children and youth through educational activities and projects, in addition to protecting them from any sort of abuse or neglect.
كنت اجي على المركز الصراحه لما كنت اجي احس حالي كثير مبسوطه ومتحمسه لاجي، صرت اعرف انه انا لازم كمل ولازم احقق طموحي ولازم انا ابني مستقبلي بايدي، من حقي ادرس، من حقي اشتغل، من حقي ابني مستقبلي، ما اخرتي بس للشطف.
RMF has implemented a variety of livelihood and economic growth activities to increase job opportunities, enhance market access for startups and SMEs, promote initiatives, entrepreneurship, and introduce circular economy approaches to ensure sustainability.
حلو بالموضوع انه هن كثير مركزين على دور المرأة. بنظري انا لازم الكل يكون عندهم هيدي الاويرنس ويعرفوا انه ما لازم يكون على طول في فرق بين المرأة والرجل، وعلى طول انه يكونوا عم بيجربوا يعملوا مساواة، وحتى المرأة مش غلط تفوت بالرينيوبل انرجي او بحياة توبيك، لانه على طول عم بتفوت وعم تثبت انه هي قادرة توصل وقادرة تعمل كثير اشياء حلوة بالمجتمع.
The Renee Mawad Foundation has always believed in the strategic role that the agriculture and food processing sectors play in the economic development of Lebanon. It is one of the first NGOs to work in the sector and one of the first to adopt a holistic method that touches all points of the value chain.
من أهم عمليات اللي بيقوم فيها المزارع هي موضوع إنه يسوق بضاعته ويسوقها بأسعار تكون مقبولة، ونقدر نخلق أسواق لهي البضاعة. السنة الماضية كان عندنا الحظ إنه نلتقى بأشخاص من مؤسسة رينيه معوض، قالوا إنه هن قادرين إنه يساعدونا بعملية التسويق. عملنا مقابلة مع شركة اسمها TFC، كانت جديدة عم تأسس بلبنان، وقدرنا عملنا تجربة معهم ب3 كونتينرات، وكانت التجربة جيدة اللي خلتنا بعدين ننتقل لأنه نعمل نحن هون عقد بالنسبة للسنة هاي، إنه يقدروا يسوقوا من 300 ل 500 طن من بضاعتنا بالعالم.
The Renee Mawad Foundation also believes that empowering unions of municipalities and public institutions, and improving their governance are imperative to achieving effective decentralization, which is the sole means to improve citizens' lives within a transparent framework that allows accountability.
بفضل هيدا المشروع صار فريشيت معروفة، يعني صرنا نحن مثال للضياع اللي حدنا، صار من عشية في أضوية، يعني صار بالضيعة مضوية.
RMF views the health and social safety net as a key component of its overall goal, which is to protect the underprivileged and provide them with the assistance they need to prosper.
There were a lot of damages in the school. We lost all the glass and all the doors. We also had damages in electricity, we had damages in infrastructure. We were contacted by RMF and RT to help us provide, first of all, clean water, to help install new bathrooms, and today we received a gift of 10 laptops. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and God bless all your efforts.
In the midst of a worsening economic crisis, a financial meltdown, political and social instability, in addition to the disastrous COVID-19 pandemic and the catastrophic Beirut blast, the Renee Mawad Foundation is always keen on working towards mitigating the effects of any emergency through short-term, mid-term, and long-term strategies.
We will now hear a brief message from the Chargé d'Affaires at the Embassy of Lebanon, Mr. Wa'il Hashim.
Good evening. It's my great pleasure to address so many distinguished Lebanese Americans, and supporters of Lebanon who are joining us here tonight, united by a common vision for a more prosperous Lebanon. On this very special occasion, I'd like to acknowledge the humanitarian efforts and assistance provided by the Renee Mawad Foundation through its various initiatives benefiting families and communities in need throughout Lebanon. Tonight's event wouldn't have been possible without the support and work of many friends of Lebanon. I'd like to seize this opportunity to thank Dr. Joseph Ghabra and the RMF board members for their efforts, and I also commend the endeavors of RMF's Executive Director, Mrs. Nadia Aburisk Assad, and her team for making this gathering and other activities for the benefit of Lebanon possible. Your efforts and contributions are a beacon of pride for all of Lebanon.
At this time, we would like to continue with the program. Thank you. We'd like to continue with the program. The Anthony Abraham Foundation is a familiar name, not only in the United States and recently tremendously throughout Lebanon, but all corners of the world, for their generosity and their charitable work. They have also been a partner of Al-Sac St. Jude Children's Research Hospital since its infancy. In fact, the late Anthony Abraham, when the American Lebanese Syrian Associated Charities was founded in 1958, was alongside Danny Thomas. And 5 years later, the group gave birth to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which you all know today is the #1 medical charity in the United States. Thomas Abraham is today's chairman of the Anthony Abraham Foundation. Tommy, as I call him, because he's a dear friend and a partner, was adopted from an orphanage in Beirut, Lebanon. And like many of us, left Lebanon with his feet only. Under his chairmanship and under his leadership, and after the Beirut catastrophic explosion, the Anthony Abraham Foundation propelled its charitable work and its giving in Lebanon to all new heights. One of those programs formed immediately after the explosion is Help Us Rise. The Help Us Rise initiative assisted many of the 300,000 Lebanese displaced after the explosion. Here's Help Us Rise.
We gather united in our love for Lebanon. One of our most cherished Lebanese American poets, 91 years ago, Khalil Gibran wrote, "He who denies his heritage has no heritage." If alive today, I believe he would have been at the forefront of standing up and professing enough is enough. I'm honored to be here to speak out on behalf of those that cannot, about the past, the present, and the future of our beloved Lebanon. There have been occupations, famines, wars, assassinations, and impoverishment. But we, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, are resilient. We, the Lebanese and Lebanese diaspora, are united. Lebanon is our homeland. It may not be sacrificed, nor shall it surrender. Times are harsh, brutal, tragic, painful, and poverty-stricken, but we breathe hope and will never abandon our beloved Lebanon. We speak to the world today about this historic moment, which calls upon all Lebanese residents and expatriates to shoulder our national responsibilities by protecting Lebanon's exemplary civilizational identity. Our Lebanon, the realm of coexistence. Our Lebanon, the country of freedoms. Our Lebanon, the land of human rights. Our Lebanon, the homeland of democracy. Our Lebanon, the cradle of creativity and art. Our Lebanon, the beacon of culture and poetry. Our Lebanon, the country of pluralism and diversity. We will preserve. Lebanon will remain. The truth will conquer, and justice will prevail. We will not surrender, and our resistance is civil, peaceful, and relentless. Lebanon is a humanitarian cause. Let us not forget that. God bless those who are the true patriots of preserving our heritage, and may their voyage inspire the rebirth of honoring the God-given right that all humanity should live in peace, with the knowledge that we will all be judged by our Maker for the justices we provide and the injustices we inflicted. Godspeed.
Please welcome a dear friend and a longtime supporter of the Renee Mawad Foundation, Mr. Thomas Abraham. Where's Thomas? I'm looking for you, darling.
Good evening, everybody. I just got back from Beirut, actually. I flew in Monday night. I was there for the Beirut Marathon, which is one of the organizations that our family foundation supports. You know, after watching Joe Jabra speak, listening to his words, and I've very, very, very familiar with Joe, being on the board of LAU for 6 years and still on the board. I don't know what else I can say. The passion, the commitment, the empathy that we all share in this room are part of the hope that we bring to Lebanon. It is really sad, it's saddening, I should say, to see what our country's going through. But what's most important that I just gathered being at the marathon this last weekend was that there are still those that believe in our country. They're not willing to leave. They're willing to sacrifice everything to make sure that Lebanon rises again. And when we talk about rising, it's not really about rising again. It's about sustaining the will to stay, the will to fight, the will to make sure that justice is served. It's an honor to be here tonight. I didn't write a speech. I just watched and listened to this crowd. And I realized there's nothing more to say. And I'd like to close my comments by saying this. I'd like us to maybe just for a second bow our heads. As in any time that we as human beings go through a tragic situation, we pause for that one moment and we reflect to the Almighty that has given us everything. And we always ask, no matter who the group of people around us are, we don't judge them by their color, by their religion, by anything. We know that we're in a battle together, and each and every one of us individually, we grasp onto that one thing, that spiritual thing that we believe in, that we know that if we stay true to our faith and to our belief in ourselves, in the Almighty, that there is hope and there is a way to find light to bring justice to Lebanon and to help our beautiful country. God bless you all, and thank you so much.
Let's get this straight. You're supposed to simply introduce her for the next show.
You know, we were on the board together at St. Jude.
We're on so many boards together.
Yeah, well, anyway.
But right now, we
why
just
weren't
need
you
to
protecting
introduce
me?
the song.
You're supposed to be protecting me.
So let's
and you're supposed to be guiding me. What? You kind of fell apart here. You're supposed to help me here. Okay, I'm going to blame you. That's the easy way out.
I'll take the blame.
Let me just tell you one thing. I have a really dear friend for almost 40-some-odd years. His wife is really famous, and he's also famous, Emilio Estefan and Gloria Estefan. I called him Emilio one day, and I said, Emilio, we got to do something for Lebanon. He says, come on over to the studio. I want you to meet somebody, Yolanis Perez. And when I walked in, there was this beautiful young girl sitting there, and Emilio and I were sitting there, and he says, we're going to write a song, Beirut, You're Not Alone. That night, we wrote this song, and this beautiful young lady you're going to meet performed it, and we recorded it, and it's really spectacular. It's a tribute to Lebanon, to the people of Lebanon, letting them know that Beirut, you're not alone. God bless Beirut. Yolanis, please come on up. And if I might just indulge one moment for a second, this young lady knows what it takes to survive a dictatorship and what it took to get off that island of Cuba. Over 18 times they tried to escape that island on a raft and finally made it. So she is now an American of Cuban heritage, but she has the history of what it takes to get away from a dictatorship and to go to a land of freedom. And here she is, beautiful Yalanis.
Thank you.
Why does my heart feel different? And it's in pain today. I'm remembering faces and places that I'll never see again. Life can change in a minute with no time to say goodbye. Life is full of surprises. You can lose the one that you love. Beirut, you're not alone. You have my heart and soul. Even through difficult times, you became strong. How can we ever forget taking the blue from our skies? But they will never take the smile from a child, dreams and hope. Beirut. I'm help us rise. Oh, you're not alone. I am with you. Beirut, you're not alone. Your heart will smile again. You never let me down. I believe in you, Beirut. Beirut, you're not alone. Your dreams will come true. I believe in the people. I believe in Beirut. I believe in you, Beirut. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You heard her, Beirut, you're not alone. We believe in the people. And as we segue into the next segments of the program, you will see that the people deserve to be believed in, because the Lebanese will succeed everywhere they go. We will start the award segments of our program with the Outstanding Community Service Award recipients. Their first restaurant was arranged, the lease to their first restaurant was arranged and by Dick Shadiak, the late Dick Shadiak. I'm sure the name resonates with many of you. But the late Dick Shadiak, at the time, was a board member, here we go again, of ALSAC St. Jude. Later became the CEO of ALSAC St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and his son today is the CEO. He arranged the first lease for their first restaurant. And since then, they have been givers to the community and companions and partners, believing in the mission of St. Jude of finding cure, saving children. But as they grew and as their business grew, their charity and their community service grew with their growth. Earlier today, we enjoyed their appetizers during the cocktail hour. And we're transformed when we step into the restaurants with the aroma from the hills of Lebanon. We indulge into their creations and family atmosphere. You kind of feel like you've been shifted, taken back to Lebanon for a meal and came back. After the Beirut port explosion, they embarked with their friend, the famous chef Jose Andreas, and the founder of the World Central Kitchen, to Beirut on a food service mission, feeding thousands of displaced Lebanese, standing with the Lebanese people in their hopeless moment. Let's get to know them through this video.
My father always loved food, and my mom came from a village that's known for the best Lebanese chefs. And they don't make very much money, and he had 5 children. So he did come here to make a better life for us, and that was the American dream for him.
When we left Lebanon in 1976 under heavy shelling.
So their father was very worried about their safety. The civil war was going on in Lebanon.
We did come on a merchant ship from Lebanon, which was not a good memory.
And they really left with nothing.
By the time we landed on American shores, we all got to work. And like most immigrants, we got working in the restaurant business.
My parents have very little education. They came from Lebanon with very little money, and they worked very hard, and they taught us how to work very hard.
All money was pooled together. Nobody had their own money. If you make money, you put it in the pot.
When Dad decided to embark on doing a Lebanese restaurant in 1979, Lebanese food was a relative unknown.
So he found a place called Athenia Taverna in Arlington. The fact that we didn't have enough money to change the whole sign, my father just changed it from Athenia Taverna to Lebanese Taverna.
And the name was born, Lebanese Taverna.
We were the only employees. I had to make it work. My father, my mom, my siblings.
We stayed together and grew this business to what it is today.
Over the years, we opened the DC and then a market, and it started to grow.
Currently, we have 11 units, different styles. This is truly a family business. So my parents, siblings, we're all owners, but we also have many relatives working with us. We had the opportunity to come to America and work hard and succeed. We'd like to give that opportunity to others. We have done so by not only hiring people from different nationalities, but we've also sponsored many, many people over the years, because we believe in people coming here, having the opportunity and contributing to society.
through their own journey here, they recognize that it's important to reach back. So for them, if they have food, they'll divide it in 100 pieces if it helps people who don't have food. It's who they are.
We like to give back, so we probably participate in over 100 events a year, and we donate to over 1,000 organizations a year. What we've done, people have accepted and welcomed us with open arms.
It's really a great joy to make people happy. They say, where do you work? I say, I work at Lebanese. Oh, Lebanese Taverna is our favorite restaurant. I mean, what more can we ask for?
One of my favorite things is when our customers, we cater their baptism, their wedding, and then their kids' baptism. And it's being part of people's lives for so long and having them share their special moments with us is really such an honor. It's amazing when I think about my parents and where they came from.
But my parents worked very hard for many years to get us to where we are today.
For me, I have a particularly strong sense of pride to continue what my parents started and my siblings.
But in all the difficulty in the business and all the difficulties, the ups and downs that the families had, it only grows them closer. They get through anything. It's remarkable. All the chaos and all the love. It's a great combination.
The Ebenezer family, ladies and gentlemen. That
Well, this video sums it up. And I have to say, Dr. Jabra, you're a tough act to follow. Thank you, Manal. Thank you, Renee Mawad Foundation. And thank you, Mom. This would not be possible without you. So, a lot has been talked about Lebanon today and its challenges. But I want to cheer Lebanon. How about them Mayas? Yeah. Not to mention the soccer team, the basketball team, and the rugby team. Thanks to my friend Sammy Rosson, who keeps me on top of all this information. Thank you. What began for us as a livelihood became our passion and ultimately became our destiny. We became ambassadors to Lebanese cuisine and ultimately Lebanon. We did not do anything exceptional. We simply served Lebanese food and Lebanese hospitality. But we did it with love. It is that love that has gotten us here today. The love of Lebanon and its people. the love of America and what it has provided for us. And most of all, the love of family that has kept us together. Our mission continues. We will be opening our next Lebanese Taverna restaurant inside the Pentagon. A feat never achieved by a local, ethnic, never mind Lebanese group, ever, ever.
The cedar will be in the Pentagon on a sign.
We will be the first Lebanese restaurant to serve the people, the men and women who serve our country. I know everyone has spoken about the challenges of Lebanon. Today, Lebanon is challenged, but the Lebanese spirit lives on, and we will endure. Thank you again.
Did anybody notice Danny's tie when he was speaking? It says on it, Hub, love, Lebanon, and at the bottom, St. Jude. So that tells you about their commitment to the cause and the many, many causes. So well earned and deserving of the Community Service Award, the Abinajam family. Thank you for all that you do to our community. The better I get. No, just kidding. For this next award, it's only proper that I hold a glass of wine in my hand. Do you know why we clink our wine glasses together? Did somebody ask why, or do you know why? You don't. Okay. That too. So there's many theories, right? Couple of theories from the Middle Ages, time of chaos and mistrust, where they would actually split the wine between two cups, and they will clink the glasses so that one drinker trusts and knows that the other drinker isn't poisoning him. The second reason, or a second theory, is that when glasses clink together, make a noise to scare away demons, similar to what we do when we knock on wood, or when we're welcoming the new year, we're shouting in welcoming the new year. So all of these are all theories that go back to Britain and the Western world. My favorite theory of all is the one that engages the senses. We touch the glass, we touch the wine, we inspect it with our eyes, admiring its color. I look for legs or tears, as the French call it, as they streak down the glass. We smell it, breathe in through our nose, anticipating its flavor, and we taste it. So we just engaged the four senses: color, aroma, body, and taste. So we clink to fulfill the fifth sense. Cheers. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, The Dow family is in the house. Mr. George Dow and Mr. Daniel Dow, whose wine we've been enjoying tonight, are tonight's and this year's recipients of the Distinguished Lifetime Achievement Award. A very well-deserved award indeed. Please direct your attention to the video screen for the history of the wine we've been enjoying, and you will hear more about their journey after the video.
More and more, as I travel around, I hear, "You're with Dow? I love Dow." So clearly, we have been able to create something special. The consumer trust in our brand is growing with every passing day. It has been a pretty incredible journey so far. And each time I think about this, it takes me back to the day when George and Daniel acquired Dow Mountain. At that time, this was a beautiful site with no water and no power. And today, we have a brand.
Standing on top of Dow Mountain today, looking over the vast rolling hills, the mountain ranges, and seeing all the way to the Pacific Ocean, looking over to the vineyard that looks as if it's been carved out of this mountain by God's hands himself, and looking at the ratings of these wines and the joy and connection that these wines bring to all of us, it all seems very clear now. Paso was meant to be a cab region, but let me just tell you that 15 short years ago, when these two brilliant visionary brothers, George and Daniel Dow, stood here on this mountain, there was nothing except two men, courage, tenacity, vision, to stand there and put a proverbial stake in the ground and say, we are going to make world-class Cabernet and Bordeaux varietals from the Adelaida district of Paso Robles. It wasn't clear at all, but they could see clear as day that not only was Paso meant to be a Cabernet region, but that the world needed Dow family estates to bring that beautiful and connection and joy through the lens of wine.
Sheer determination, a focus on a can-do, anything is possible attitude, focus on people, and kindness and respect and love had a profound effect on the business. Dow is different because we focus on purpose. We're about perseverance, celebration, love, compassion, and people. And we'll continue to grow the business, and it'll always be through a lens of love. That's what we've learned from George and Daniel and their entire family.
These same principles define our culture and allow us to market, innovate, and grow our brand. George and Daniel are simply brilliant people. They leave nothing to chance, they obsess about every detail, and they for sure do not take no for an answer. We have all witnessed this many times over. And this sort of passion has allowed us to be where we are today as a company. From a passion project to a global icon that creates quality and approachable luxury. I know that I speak on behalf of the entire company when I say, George and Daniel, we love you. Continue to do what you do best, and that is inspire others to be their best. We love you, we appreciate you, never change.
Our Distinguished Lifetime Achievement Award is for this year, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Daniel Dow and Mr. George Dow. picture. Let's do it to the left of the podium quickly.
Okay. Here's one for you, and here's one. Congratulations. We're so proud of you, and we wish you all the best.
You want to get in the picture? Let's look Danny. Let's get the capacity picture. Yes, please. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to hear your story. Tell everything you want.
This is quite an emotional night. I'm sure the videos you've seen have touched you as much as they've touched me. I wanted to bring a little levity to this somber moment, and I'll try. I'm not promising you to be successful. Here's a little anecdote for you. I was born on February 22nd, 1961, which is George Washington's birthday. My brother was born on February 12th, 1965. That's Abraham Lincoln's birthday. It's sort of weird that we're getting an award in Washington, D.C., where these two gentlemen hundreds of years ago were here before us. It's only fitting. As I said, I was born in 1961. If I can tell my whole life story in 2 minutes, I definitely deserve this award. But I'll try to summarize a few things about us that you may or may not know. Both Danny and I are the sons of Joseph and Marie Dow. My mom and dad met in Lebanon. They got married. They had their firstborn on December 25th. 9 years later, he passed away. He's now an angel. He's probably here floating looking at this. We had an idyllic childhood. We lived, in my opinion, in the best times of Lebanon, in the 60s and the 70s. On May 3rd, 1973, I went to bed as a boy, 12 years old. I woke up as a man because we had our first rocket in Lebanon land at our house. I was critically injured. I was in a coma for 48 hours. My sister was 16, sat next to me, and they told her, if you see this barometer drop, your brother's dying. Our family was first casualty of the war. In retrospect, this was a gift for us. And I'll tell you why I think it was a gift for us. We shortly thereafter went to Paris. We grew up in Paris. We were French educated, so it was easy. We spent the summers in Cannes. And at the age of 19, I decided to leave and come to the USA for the American dream. I went to San Francisco with the goal of going to Stanford. Ended up through Berkeley to go to UC San Diego. 3 years after, my brother followed me. We both got engineering degrees. And then when we graduated, our parents told us they could no longer support us. We said to them, listen, this is an amazing country. If you come here with whatever you've got, we'll build it again. I was 24, Danny was 20. They came with 100 grand. We started a company with 50 grand. 7 years later, we took it public. It was the fourth best IPO on Wall Street. No achievement is without many people. I'm very honored with Danny to have a Lifetime Achievement Award. But I'll take this award for all my friends who have traveled far to come here. I take this award for my parents who've raised two great kids. I take this award for my brother, my best friend, who stood by me since we were kids. And I take this award for the beautiful ladies, Melissa and Sarah, in our life. So this is really for them that we accept this award. I've been through life kicking, screaming, smiling, laughing, crying. And I've had all the emotions in the world. I love this country, I love my family, and I love Lebanon. When I came here, I had a soul full of hope. And I gotta tell you, I'm proud to say I'm living the American dream. You can take the boy out of Lebanon, but you can never take Lebanon out of the boy. In all these years, I've learned a few things that I'd like to share with you. You've heard this expression before. If it's in the way, it is the way. Most of us, when we encounter obstacles, we try to avoid them. We try to move away from them. We try to change jobs, change partners, change whatever. It doesn't work. What works is dealing with the problem and coming across the other side a better person. In my whole life, I never tried to change the world. I just tried to change myself, to adapt to the world. I believe that life begins outside your comfort zone. And ever since we had that bomb, going back to what I told you earlier, we understand adversity as a friend. And now enough about me. We'll talk about Danny in a second. Lebanon's going through this right now. Lebanon has a huge thing in the way of peace, of dignity, of respect, of hope, of prosperity. I believe Lebanon is going to come out better. And I believe we can help it get better. We've spent our whole life trying to build a new life. But I will be honest with you, the shimmer of light of Lebanon has remained in my heart. And this year, I was born in 1961. I turned 61 on 2/22/22. This is the year where Danny and I are looking to Lebanon, looking at the future, and in quoting a few other people that say they've done enough, they have enough, and they are enough, we're ready to now open up a new page to join all of you in helping this country that we still call Lebanon, that we love. I will finish quickly with this. A quick clip about Dow. We started Dow with nothing. It was dirt, no water, no electricity, no brand, no wine, no vines, no building, no Google address. 10 years later, because of this gentleman standing next to me, my brother, we created an unbelievable brand. Today, there are thousands of brands in this business. In a matter of 10 years, today Dow is the #1 best-selling brand over $20 in the entire United States. We have over 100,000 points of distribution. We're in 53 countries, and we can never make enough wine. And all of this is because my brother, who's sitting quiet for now, is a genius. He's made incredible wine. He left his family in San Diego with his family, lived in a double wide because he was possessed to make Lebanon proud. And the fact that Lebanon bore us, Lebanon made us, we wanted to show the world that Lebanese people can also win in the winery space. And we have. And thanks to Danny and his wines and the ones you're drinking tonight, we've been able to accomplish that. Thanks for listening. My heart is full tonight, and I'm extremely grateful and honored that the Renee Mouawad Foundation chose us for the Lifetime Achievement Award. And I'll be remiss to say, Michelle Mouawad, I love you. I don't know if you're listening to this. I pray for you, and I believe you are the change agent we need for the future hope of Lebanon.
Now you all see why I have the best brother in the world. He gave all the perfect speech. There's not much more I can add to it, but I will add a few things. You know, people often have a hard time relating to our identity. I mean, after all, we're born in Lebanon, grew up in France, but then immigrated to the United States. You know, a lot of you are immigrants. We had the fortune or misfortune to immigrate twice. And often people will ask us, what are you exactly? And we say, you know, it's very simple. France taught us the discipline. America gave us the opportunity. But Lebanon gave us the heart and the courage. And it is that heart that caused us to, 15 years ago, stand on a bare mountain, out of all places, Paso Robles. I have to tell you this funny story about Paso Robles. My parents were still alive back then. My mom, being from the north, she would look at me and say, "Where are you going, to Trobles?" There was a hole in the wall. It was not known. But we stood on this mountain and basically said, we're going to make a Cabernet Sauvignon and we're going to make Bordeaux varieties that challenge the wine industry all over the world. And people thought we were just crazy. They only missed one point, that we're Lebanese. And being crazy is part of our DNA. If you cannot be crazy, you can't be Lebanese. We're very honored to be here tonight. This award means so much to my brother and I, and to our whole family, because we know it comes with a full heart. And we pray for Lebanon every day. We know that God will not abandon Lebanon, and we know we won't either, as all of you will not either. So thank you for this award. It means so much for us. Thank you.
You heard them, and this has been resonating with us all night. You are the diaspora, the heartbeat of Lebanon. Congratulations. We will now proceed to the Public Service Award to be presented by one of the pillars of the Lebanese American community, Mr. Nijat Faris. Mr. Nijat Faris could not be with us in person tonight, but joins us virtually from Houston.
Hello to everyone at the Renee Mawad Foundation Gala this evening. While I am unfortunately unable to join you in person, I am proud to introduce Congressman Darren Lahoud, the Renee Mawad Foundation Distinguished Public Service Award recipient. As many of you know, Congressman Lahoud is a Peoria, Illinois native, the current U.S. representative of the 18th Congressional District of Illinois, and a proud Lebanese American. As one of 3 Lebanese American members of Congress and co-chair of the U.S.-Lebanon Friendship Caucus, Congressman Lahoud has been a consistent champion of the Lebanese American community and the Lebanese people during his time serving constituents in Washington, D.C. Congressman Lahoud's great-grandparents immigrated to the United States from the village of Aitu in northern Lebanon. The U.S. is home to over 14,000 Lebanese Americans from Aitu, many of whom live in Congressman Lahoud's hometown of Peoria. Over 8,000 Lebanese Americans reside in Peoria, one of the largest Lebanese diaspora populations in the country. As a leader on U.S.-Lebanon policy issues, Congressman Lahoud advocates for a safe, independent, sovereign, and prosperous Lebanon, which supports the interests and security of the Lebanese people. Following the tragic blast that rocked the port of Beirut in the summer of 2020, he led bipartisan efforts to provide U.S. humanitarian assistance to the people of Lebanon and has introduced legislation and advocated for U.S. aid and other sources of funding to support and strengthen humanitarian efforts, American universities in Lebanon, the Lebanese armed forces, and the broader U.S.-Lebanon relationship. Congressman Lahoud takes great pride in his Lebanese heritage, and we, as members of the Lebanese diaspora community, remain grateful to have his continued leadership in Congress. It is my honor, once again, to introduce tonight's Distinguished Public Service Award recipient, Congressman Darren Lahoud.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much to Najad Ferris for that wonderful and very generous introduction, and to the Renee Mowad Foundation, to our gala chair, Rich Ashu and Manel Saab, and the Honorable Michelle Mowad coming to us from Lebanon, Dr. Jabra, and all the others tonight for this tremendous honor. And I'm so pleased I could accept it tonight with my mom and dad here tonight and my brother and sister-in-law here tonight. So I'm grateful to have them here with us. I also want to thank our fellow honorees here. Listening to both of the families here tonight was just inspiring and wonderful. And it was funny, I was talking to Danny Dow earlier. I'd never met him before. But he explained to me that the LaHoods and the Dows are related. And I couldn't think of a better family to find out tonight you're related to than the Dows. So anyway, congratulations to the honorees. And it's a privilege for me to receive the RMF Distinguished Service Award this evening, along with my colleague, Senator Jean Shaheen, who is also receiving it tonight. Now, the timing of Senator Shaheen and I receiving this tonight, it should be noted that we had an election last week, as everyone knows. Tonight, Senator Shaheen is in the majority again, and as of a little earlier, Congressman Issa and I will be in the majority in the House, right? So that will hopefully, in a bicameral way, be good news for Lebanon going into next year. But I'm deeply grateful for the recognition here tonight. As Najad talked about, as the great-grandchild of Lebanese immigrants from I-2, Lebanon in the northern part of the country, I'm proud of my Lebanese-American heritage. I'm also very proud in the Congress to co-chair, along with Congressman Issa and others, the Lebanese Friendship Caucus, made up of 30 members in a bipartisan way, Republicans and Democrats, that advocate for Lebanon. Yes, and there are people from all over the country here tonight. If your member of Congress is not a member of the caucus, you need to get them to join the caucus. So have them join the U.S.-Lebanon Friendship Caucus. As many of you know, I represent a large and vibrant Lebanese community in Peoria, Illinois. Over 8,000 families that have Lebanese heritage, mostly coming from I-2. And I think back to my great-grandparents that immigrated 100 years ago to Peoria, and my grandparents and relatives that have thrived being in America. Growing up in Peoria, my grandparents were the founders of St. Charbel Maronite Church in Peoria. They were also, my grandfather was the manager of the I-2 men's club that's a very important part of our culture in Peoria. But growing up around Lebanese people throughout my life, these were role models, whether it was my own father or doctors and lawyers and elected officials, engineers, lots of Lebanese Americans that did what all of us in this room have done, focused on family, the importance of family, focused on education, focused on hard work, focused on the resiliency and what this country offers. And I think about that when I think about my own family. My dad was one of the first to go to college in his family. I was the first ever to go to law school in my family. My sister was the first to go to medical school. And so within a generation or two, that Lebanese drive and resiliency is alive and well, and I saw it firsthand in my family. I visited Lebanon for the first time in the 1990s. My brother Sam was attending AUB, and I'll never forget when I arrived in Lebanon for the first time, and just the beauty of the country, and the culture, and the people, and the food, and the history, and just the amazing resiliency of Lebanon. But I also looked around, they all looked like my cousins from Peoria. All of them. They looked exactly the same, and the same names, and it bonded with the fact that, 5,000 miles away in Peoria, Illinois, that we had this bond with Lebanon. And so we've heard a lot tonight about the struggles in Lebanon, and Lebanon really is at a tipping point in terms of where it's at today. I hate to say this, but it verges on a failed state for many of the things that we heard here tonight. Facing a humanitarian crisis. We have a current cholera epidemic. We We have ongoing election stalemate, political corruption that is systemic throughout the government, and a slow recovery from the tragic port blast in 2020. In Congress, I, along with many of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, have advocated for ongoing need to support the Lebanese people, including through humanitarian assistance, USAID funding, and ongoing encouragement of timely, fair, and representative elections. In the Congress, as we move into the next Congress next year, we got to continue to support the LAF, continue to support LAU and AUB for what they do in supporting education in Lebanon, which is so vitally important. We must stop the malign influence of Hezbollah in Lebanon. And we need to make sure we support Lebanon with the codification of the maritime border, which is the one piece of good news there. So those are things that we have to focus on moving forward to help move Lebanon out of the situation it is right now. We also need the ongoing engagement and support of our partners and allies and all those across the country and the world that care so deeply about Lebanon, which is exemplified in this room here tonight. The Renee Moawad Foundation continues to prove their longtime legacy of dedication and service to the country and people of Lebanon through their charitable work, partnerships with USAID, and all other efforts to support a future Lebanon that is independent, sovereign, and prosperous. Once again, I'm honored to be here tonight to accept this award from the Renee Moawad Foundation. I will continue to be an advocate for the people of Lebanon in Congress, and my sincere thanks to all the work that's done by RMF, and all of you on behalf, all of you here tonight on behalf of the Lebanese people. Thank you so much.
Sure, well, we have one more Public Service Award to be presented to another Granite Stater, a woman of many firsts, and will be presented by the Honorable, a fellow Granite Stater, Rich Ashu.
The reason why there are so many Lebanese Granite Staters is that New Hampshire is very much like Lebanon. It is known for its trees. You can ski in the summer and swim in the winter, and our politics are absolutely crazy. So we're very at home there. Before I exercise the privilege of introducing this last award, there are a couple of acknowledgments. We've been talking a lot about our government partners that are so critical to the success of Lebanon, and we have two guests tonight from the Department of State that I did want to acknowledge, who are actively working to create support for Lebanon at this critical time, and that's Deputy Assistant Secretary Tobin Bradley and Dr. Rita Stefan. Thank you for being here. And further, there's been this delightful theme through the night of family. The Abi Najm family, the Lahoud family, the Dow family. In a minute, you'll hear a little bit about the Shaheen family. But I have to point out that the Moawad family is here tonight, and Michelle's sister Rima is here. So please say hi, Rima. Yeah. So it is my privilege to introduce our next honoree, United States Senator Jeanne Shaheen. And while it's a privilege, it's also a challenge because capturing in the limited time we have here tonight all the highlights of a remarkable career is indeed a challenge. Her service to her community, her state, her country, and yes, the people of Lebanon is a tall task. So to do that, I thought I might take a little bit of personal liberty as one who's known her for years and in fact has been a constituent for 25 of those years, to share maybe some insights that you may not know. But the fact that she is a formidable member of the United States Senate, I would say among the most formidable, is no secret. As a member of the Armed Services Committee in the Senate, the Foreign Relations Committee in the Senate, and the Appropriations Committee in the Senate, there is nothing in terms of U.S. global policy that is not subject to her scrutiny and, dare I say, approval. She utilizes the incredible responsibility of these leadership positions to not only ensure U.S. interests are supported and protected, but in particular that the U.S. men and women who serve in roles which do the supporting and do the protecting, especially those who serve in harm's way, are themselves supported and protected. She is a frequent traveler to contentious and outright dangerous areas of the globe to fulfill this duty, and you'll be just as likely to find her meeting with the troops on the ground as you will country leaders in their offices. But Jean Shaheen brings something unique, in fact, something special to her service, which is central to why she's being honored by the RMF tonight. This is where the personal privilege comes in. For while she's well known to you all as a formidable senator, as I've described, it's important to recount that before she was Senator Shaheen, she was Governor Shaheen. Before that, she was State Senator Shaheen, at each step displaying the care and compassion for those she represents. But before all this, she was Madbury, New Hampshire zoning board member Jean Shaheen, who utilized her position to fight against zoning changes in her neighborhood that would have closed a mobile home park and leave many homeless. Now you can see where I'm headed with this. The same person who fought to protect the basic welfare of those people in her community threatened with homelessness is the same person, that formidable U.S. Senator, using her leadership to protect the basic welfare of those in need wherever they reside. Sadly, one place where many are in such need is Lebanon. This is the very challenge the RMF exists to conquer, and it could not do so without the help and support of leaders like Jean Shaheen, who work every day to ensure that critical funding agencies like the USAID, the RMF's biggest partner, have the resources they need to accomplish their mission. Not surprisingly, her efforts went into overdrive in the wake of the horrific Beirut port explosion. And yet, while working on policies which positively impact thousands of lives, she never lost her focus on helping one life, the one family, the one neighborhood. We will never truly know the number of individuals she's aided, quietly, effectively, and without fanfare. The Lebanese have been large beneficiaries of her devotion to compassion. Families facing immigration issues, bureaucratic bullying, legal intimidation, in one case that I'm personally aware of, outright detainment and persecution. She has been steadfast as a champion for those in need, regardless of their station, beliefs, or politics. And most of what she accomplished in this regard will be known only to those she helped. A true example for other leaders to follow. Now, one might attribute this compassionate devotion to the Lebanese as a byproduct of her marriage to Billy, an irrepressible Lebanese good old boy who introduced this Missouri girl to the family at their home in York Beach, Maine. Here she was also introduced to a virtual ocean of ethnic wonders: food, family, language, and no small dose of political opinionship. By the way, the record isn't clear whether she jumped into that ocean or was pushed by Billy's mother, who clearly knew a good deal when she saw it. Billy is with us tonight. Billy, would you stand up just so we can say hi to you? Yeah. Yeah. The devotion to community, something already deeply ingrained in Jean and a hallmark of the Lebanese through Bill, was clearly one of the many common traits this adorable couple share, and around which they built a beautiful family. The Renee Mawad Foundation exists to improve human lives in Lebanon. By her actions, it's apparent Jean Shaheen lives by the same mission. It's for that simple reason we honor her tonight. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the 2022 recipient of the Renee Mawad Foundation Award for Distinguished Public Service, the Honorable Jean Shaheen.
Good evening. It's that time of the night when everything's been said, but not everybody said it, right? But thank you so much, Rich, for that very generous introduction. Although you didn't have to tell everybody we've known each other for 25 years. Thank you also to the Renee Mawad Foundation for this really wonderful honor of being one of the recipients for your Public Service Award. As you heard from Rich, I married into Lebanon. I not only got a wonderful husband out of the deal, but I also got a lot of history and culture of Lebanon that I never knew as a kid growing up in the Midwest, a WASP growing up in the Midwest. I didn't know about Lebanon. But I learned about the history, about the culture, the food. I do know how to cook Lebanese food. Yes. And I can do the dubki. So, but I also learned about the generosity of spirit of the Lebanese people. And it's that generosity that is on display tonight with the Renee Mawad Foundation. And we have heard from Dr. Jabra, just in his powerful speech, just how critical the work of the foundation is right now, given what's happening in Lebanon. And so we need to do everything we can as a diaspora to encourage the people of Lebanon, to help them to understand, as the foundation does, that there is hope. We need to do everything we can in the United States Congress and USAID and with our government to ensure that we support the people of Lebanon. And we need to remind everyone that democracy is fragile and that countries depend on the quality of leadership of their people. And having leaders who are committed to the public service and the public good of the people that they serve. And Darren, I look forward to serving in that other body with you and Daryl as we think about what we can do to make sure that Lebanon gets the support that it needs. But I gotta tell you, I knew a long time ago that all the Lebanese are cousins. I can't believe you learned that tonight. But thank you to all of you for this award and for the contributions that you continue to make, not just to the United States, but to the country of Lebanon. Thank you all.
Congratulations to all our awards recipients tonight. I would be remiss if I don't recognize a member of the Lebanese Parliament with us tonight, His Excellency Adib Abdel Masih. Thank you for being here. And it's also only befitting to recognize the leadership and the army behind tonight. Nadia Mawad Abu Rizq, the director of the Renee Mawad Foundation. You are the magnet that keeps us together and make it happen, and the volunteers that are volunteering year after year, and some of them here tonight have been doing it for 15 years. Thank you for giving your time and resources to the mission of Renee Mawad Foundation. We have, I hope you've been inspired this evening, and as we are doing the dessert service, we have a video that we would like to share with you from the Renee Mawat Foundation.
When so many around us are forced into early marriage, labor, gangs, and violence, we don't expect the perfect childhood. We don't expect the latest toys or roller coaster rides. We don't require organic food, or ironed clothes, or cotton sheets. We don't demand your thoughts, or your hopes, or your prayers. We can't grow strong on your sympathy or learn from your pity. We don't hope to become superheroes, or outlaws, or martyrs. You don't need to make it impossible for us to fail with extra tutors, or nannies, or summer camps, or connections, or favors. But it should at least be possible for us to succeed. Don't give us every chance. Just give us one.
Friends, tonight, know that your presence here and your generosity is help shape a culture and a country to resemble its people and not its corruption. But also know that it's you that are standing and preserving the dignity of the Lebanese people. I was just told that before we end the program with the sound of hope, I was just told that the Dow, the two tables, with the Dow family and their friends, will match up to $50,000 if we pause for a few minutes, and if we get some hands of hope raised, they will match it dollar for dollar. I'm only gonna pause for a couple of minutes, and those that are talking over there, I'm sure are donating. But you have envelopes on the tables, and we will also put up the slide where people can text donations. But do we have any hands of hope in the room for the generous match offered by the two Dow tables? I would need to turn the lights on, if we can turn the lights on, because I can't see. I see hands already here, but we need some lights on. Let's cheer them on. Let's make some noise for the Hands of Hope for Lebanon. And where are our volunteers? I saw a couple of hands on this table. I don't have a cordless mic. This would be a good time to get a cordless mic. Is it possible to turn the lights? No? Okay, here we go. We're collecting the envelopes. Please keep your hands up. Keep the hands of hope up if you're donating, and we'll make our way to you. Danny, George, and your friends, thank you. Thank you so much for your generosity to the Lebanese and for your support of our humanitarian assistance program. Okay, Is it on? Is it on? I have a mic in my hands. I just need to see the hands of hope. Thank you so much. Cheer them on. Sound of hope, hands of hope. Do we have any more hands? Dr. Francois Nader, thank you, thank you, thank you. We have another hand here. Danny again? The Abinazim family once again. We shouldn't be surprised. Thank you, thank you. We have another hand here. Thank you. Do you want to say something? Were you inspired tonight?
Yes, I was inspired by all the honorees, and it's an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you here. Thank you for being here. Here's the envelope. Any other hands of hope? You need envelopes? The volunteers have it. Did I miss anyone? Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure to support the people of Lebanon.
Thank you, the people of Lebanon. It's your support that keeps their getting. Thank you. Any other hands of hope before we close the program with the sound of performance?
I'm here to say the text works.
Oh, the text is working. Keep texting. That's amazing. Thank you. Make some noise. Any other hands of hope? Here we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Text. Any other? Here we go. Any other hands of hope? Okay. This is wonderful. I love the energy of the room. You can knock on wood or you can make sounds to scare the demons. We return to our beautiful Dahlia. Oh, we have more hands. Wow. I love it. I love it. Paul, I love it when young people take on the mission and give. Especially handsome young people.
Just doing what I can as a handsome young man.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, we are now going to conclude our evening with a beautiful performance by Dahlia, with the Sound of Hope performance.
You are listening to Cafe de Anatolian Music.
Hello, hello. Can everyone hear me? Can I get a thumbs up if you guys can hear me clearly? Everyone out there? Everyone good? Good, good? Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Dalia Lily. I just want to introduce myself really quickly for you all. First, I hope you've been enjoying your dinner and your evening and taking in all the information and resources that these hardworking people have presented to you. All right. Okay. So tonight we have 2 songs to perform for you all. And there are some classics by Fairuz. But we've made our own version for them. So I hope that you enjoy. Alrighty. I also do want to say that I was born and raised here in the US. So my Arabic is limited, unfortunately. But when I was approached about this event, I had to take advantage and, you know. So we're gonna start with Le Beirut, okay? Luis?
وقبل للبحر والبيوت لصخرة كأنها وجه بحار قديم هي من روح الشعب غمر هي من أراضيه خبز وياسمين فكيف صار طعمها طعم نار ودخان لبيروت مجد من رماد لبيروت من دم لولد حمل فوق يدها أطفأت مدينتي قنديلها أغلقت بابها أصبحت في المساء وحدها وحدها وليل
So next we have a mashup that we created of بحبك يا لبنان and نسم علينا الهوى. So if you know it and want to sing along, please do. But it will sound a little different than the original. We'll see. بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك بشمالك بجنوبك بسهلك بحبك بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك بشمالك بجنوبك بسهلك بحبك تسأل شو بني وشو اللي ما بني تسأل شو بني وشو اللي ما بني بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك بشمالك بجنوبك بسهلك بحبك بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك بشمالك بجنوبك بسهلك بحبك تسأل شو بني وشو اللي ما بني تسأل شو بني وشو اللي ما بني بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني شو بنا يا حبيبي شو بنا شو بنا شو بنا يا حبيبي شو بنا كنتو كنا تضلوا عنا وافترقنا شو بنا سألوني شو صاير ببلد العيد مزروع الداير نار هو بوريد سألوني شو صاير ببلد العيد مزروع الداير نار هو
خدني لعندن يا هوا يا هوا يا هوا يلي طاير بالهوا فيه منطورة طاقة وصورة خدني لعندن يا هوا وبعد الشمس بتبكي عالباب وما تحكي ويحكي هوا بلادي خدني على بلادي بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك بشمالك بجنوبك بساحلك بحبك بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني بحبك بشمالك بجنوبك بساحلك بحبك تسأل شو بني وشو اللي ما بني تسأل شو بني وشو اللي ما بني بحبك يا لبنان يا وطني تسأل شو بني وشو اللي ما بني تسأل شو بني وشو اللي ما بني بحبك يا لبنان يا Thank you guys for having us.